So I've got my cherry slush and it's time to get down to business. All right, so if that kid is ever going to be successful in life, we obviously need to do a literature-based curriculum. But is that enough? Is a literature-based curriculum enough? And then for math, if I want him to be a math genius by the age of 10, we are really going to have to step it up with this addition. Okay, it's done. I've solved all our curriculum problems. Okay, excuse my nerdiness, guys. Not funny, Madison. You're not funny. All right, guys. Get out your whiteboards. Get out your homeschool mom planners. Get out your chalkboard with complicated math equations on it and graphs, pie graphs. You know, what other kind of graphs are there? Bar graphs. Lots of different graphs here. We are talking about curriculum planning for the 2024-2025 homeschool year. Hey guys, my name's Madison. I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kiddos. And if you are anything like me and you just love curriculum and you get really excited about planning out the next school year, but you get a little bit overwhelmed by all of the wonderful options that are out there, then you are in the right place. Because we are going to get super nerdy. We are going to talk about all of the different possibilities, and maybe you guys can even help me because I'm a little bit unsure about certain curriculum picks for the next year. This is probably going to be a part 1 because I've only just begun to scratch the surface of figuring out what curriculum I want to use for my kids next year, but I do have like some ideas, some thoughts, and so I thought, you know what? Might as well get started filming it so these aren't super long videos. I can kind of split it up. So let's just get into it. Okay, so if you've been watching my channel recently, then you already know that I have been changing things up mid-year. If you haven't watched my last couple of videos, definitely go catch up. I posted a video about quitting the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. I also posted a video of a huge haul of curriculum that I purchased for this year. Things that we are still using in the 2023-2024 homeschool year because I totally changed up what we were doing mid-year. So anyway, definitely check out those videos. But of course, during all of that craziness of changing things up mid-year, I'm also starting to think about 2024-2025. What?
Your Mac will sleep soon if you don't plug it in.
Okay, just bring it down here.
Okay.
And take a break.
See what she does? Okay. I'm gonna leave that in.
That was my teenager, if you can't tell by his sarcasm. So, where was I? I am, thinking about next year, and I am not 100% certain on some of the subjects based off of how this year went. So I do plan on doing like a year wrap-up video where I talk about how all of the curriculum we used, how that all went. I do have like a mid-year update, but things have changed since then. But you can watch that video. But things have changed even since that mid-year update. So one of the main things I'm trying to figure out is for my younger kids. I'm going to be talking about my first grader. He'll be going into 2nd grade. My pre-K will be going into kindergartner, and then my 2-year-old, she'll be 3. So I'm talking mostly about my little ones in this video, and I'll talk about more brainstorming for my high schooler in another video. But my main issue is what I'm going to do with my little ones for history and science and like literature. I think those are what I'm most uncertain about. If you watch my last videos, I started using Logic of English, and we are liking that. I'm going to do an update on Logic of English, and I might do like a flip through of it if you guys are interested in that. But we are really liking that, and so I do think that we are going to continue Logic of English. I already got the stuff for my kindergartner for Logic of English. He hasn't started it yet, although I do think I might start him before the end of this school year because I feel like these school years are kind of just arbitrary, and we don't necessarily have to go buy them. And so I don't have to like wait until he's in kindergarten to start his curriculum that I'm planning for him for kindergarten. It's so hard to like get out of that mindset, you know, that society kind of puts on you when you weren't raised as a homeschooler, but I'm trying to kind of get out of that and just, you know, when my child is ready, like focus on my child, which is the point of homeschooling, or not the point, but one of the points. Focus on my child and not just like the school year or whatever. But anyway, we will most likely be going with Logic of English for like reading, grammar, spelling. And then I think we are going to be using Write Shop for writing. So that is, you know, a big chunk. And then as far as their math, I'm going to talk about that in another video, because right now we're using The Good and the Beautiful for my little one, but I think we are switching that as well. So that'll be in a future video. So this video, we're going to be talking about like history, science, all of that. So this year we had Sunlight. We got the preschool Sunlight. And I would say it was kind of an epic fail, although not totally, but it's just been a hard year with my toddler. She started off the year being just barely 2 years old. She turned 2 in September. And I had high hopes. I sat all my little ones down and I was ready to read books to them, and just chaos ensued. Like, it just was pure chaos trying to read to my then 6, 4, and 2-year-old. It just was like not happening, and people were fighting. Now he's 7, but my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old, they fight a ton, and then the little one is a toddler, and so she's just crazy. So it didn't really go so well trying to like read to all of them. It does go okay when we're sitting down at the table at a meal, like for breakfast or lunch. But even then, my toddler, she is not that big on like sitting at the table and eating with us, which is something I want to work on her, like work with her on, getting better about that, but that is a struggle. And so that didn't necessarily, she doesn't go in a high chair, like it didn't necessarily help with her, and she was one of the biggest issues. Although it did help with my older ones to have them like eating. They would fight less if they were just like eating their food or whatever. So that was kind of chaos, and it made me think, should I use a literature-based curriculum when it comes to like history and science and all of that? It made me start to really question it, which is sad to me because I love books, and I think that just you can learn so much just from straight up reading a book, and that's it, like no extra guides or anything. And so that was really sad to me to think that we wouldn't be able to do a literature-based curriculum. And then specifically like Sunlight, I really, really love Sunlight, and I love the idea of it, but there are a few reasons why I'm not so sure about the History Bible literature through Sunlight this year. Maybe in the future, that's why I've got my graphs and my diagrams and everything, because maybe in the future it would work, but for the season that we're in, I'm not so sure it will work. So I thought about 5 in a row. That's another curriculum that I really like. We have already before 5 in a row. So what it is you just row or repeat the same picture book 5 days in a row, and you do different types of activities that have to do with math, language arts, science, history, Bible, art, all of the things. And it's really simple, especially before 5 in a row. Little activities, but it's super fun. My kids really enjoy it. We've done a couple of the books of before 5 in a row. So I thought, okay, maybe we'll just do 5 in a row this year. But my issue with 5 in a row, and like I can read one book to them. Like we can get through one single book. I was just trying to read like a page from this book and a page from that book and all of that through Sunlight. It just wasn't working out. So I thought, okay, we could just read one book a day. And if my toddler, like, I just need to get her happy for just this, 10-minute time frame of reading this one single book, and we should be okay. But then that side of me that loves books, I'm like, I don't want to just read that one book a week. I do believe that the repeating of the book, like I've noticed it because we've done before 5 in a row. I have noticed they get more and more out of it. the more times we read it. And so I do believe in that like concept as far as just learning for children. They do this in Logic of English where they have them read their readers a couple of times, and they kind of do like a summary beforehand for them, and it just really helps them like with comprehension. So I do think that that's good, and I like that a lot. But I also want to read more books with my kids. Like, that is a part of my homeschooling. Like, if I think of my core, like what I want my kids to think back on in all these years. Sarah Mackenzie talks about this from Read Aloud Revival. She talks about how, think about, you know, what you want your kids to say about homeschooling, you know, once they're graduated or whatever. And one thing I want my kids to say is that we read a ton of books and that they love reading because we read all these amazing books and it was so much fun. It was such a good experience. But it hasn't really been that way, at least during school time. Now, in the evenings, my little ones love when I read to them. They love that time where the one-on-one time, you know, I think that's a big part of it. They love the stories and all of that, but it's also like they get one-on-one time with me. Or my like 6-7-year-old likes to read to my 2-year-old and me at night as well. So that got me thinking. I'm like, okay, we do read books at night. So I could use some of the Sunlight books at night. And then also, they seem to prefer to be read to separately instead of together because it has that like special bond time. And that got me thinking, okay, I've been trying to combine like basically all 3 of them in the same Sunlight. That's why I did the lowest level preschool. There's like 2 preschool ones. I did the lowest level, which I think is T. And that's why I did that one because I mean, I even enjoy those books and I'm like a full grown adult. So I knew that my 6-year-old would be just fine with them. But then, you know, it would be at a level for my little ones. But I think that me trying to combine all of them and make like, you know, family style subjects, they talk about that on Homeschool. That's a big thing. And I talk about this in my like problems with homeschool mom vloggers. Is just this idea that they sell of something that's so great, like family subjects. And so you think, well, then I need to do family subjects. It's so great. It's wonderful. They're painting this beautiful picture of family subjects. But then I try to do it and it's like an ultimate fail. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me. And it's like, maybe not. Maybe it just doesn't work for our family in this season. Maybe not forever. Maybe we could get to a point where we are doing more family style subjects together, but right now it just doesn't seem to be working. So that's got me thinking, should I do like my oldest specific, or not my oldest, but my oldest of the little ones. So my child that's going into 2nd grade, I really want him to have like a strong science and history curriculum for 2nd grade. I feel like kindergarten, first, you know, these early years, like it's not that big of a deal, but even still, I think they'd be fine, but I personally really want him to start having more of those subjects and more consistently. So I'm wondering if I should do Sunlight for him and do like the science Sunlight, like either level K or level A. I don't want to start him like, you know, since he's in 2nd grade, he could, going into 2nd grade, he could technically probably do like B or something, but I don't want to jump the gun on that because there's so many good books in the science. And also, if the little ones did ever by some miracle want to listen in, they could. So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, for science, possibly doing a Sunlight like level K or A, and doing it specifically for that child, specifically for my 2nd grader, not thinking of it as group subjects. And so if we just do it by ourselves when kids are napping or playing or doing other things, that's okay because it's his subject, kind of like his language arts and kind of like his math. We just get it done. Like even my little ones, sometimes they'll play outside and me and my 1st grader will sit outside and do school while they're playing outside. So I think just that like a mindset shift is helping me. So I'm considering Sunlight for my 2nd grader for his science. And then as far as history though, so still considering 5 in a row as something we all do together. It's like a family subject thing. But I just don't think that's enough for me. I want more books. And so then I'm also considering Beautiful Feet books. The, what is it called? Around the World. Beautiful Feet books. Oh, picture books. It's by Beautiful Feet. Picture books around the world. So, why I'm interested in this curriculum is I really like that it's all picture books. Because I love picture books. Sarah McKenzie talks about how don't just like move on from picture books because you feel like your child is at a certain age where they are too old for them or something. Like you're never too old for picture books, which I believe because I'm an adult and I love picture books. I also love middle grade novels and, you know, stuff like that too. So I feel like good literature is good literature. Like that's when you know. Who said that? I think it was J.K. Rowling? No. Somebody said, some like well-known author said, like if it can be read, like a good children's book is something that can be read by adults and enjoyed by adults as well. So I do believe that like good literature can be enjoyed by any age. I love picture books, and my problem with Sunlight is they don't really do picture books after preschool. It's mostly like kindergarten history, Bible, literature. It's like almost all chapter books. I mean, I don't own it, but I've watched a lot of review videos, and it appears to be mostly chapter books. And I do think that my almost second grader, when he goes into second grade, I think he'll be ready for chapter books. Like I think he could sit and he has listened to, I read Mr. Popper's Penguins with him and my oldest actually. And, you know, he did great with that this year. So I do think he's ready. But I remember trying to read like Charlotte's Web to him in kindergarten, and it just like, whew, he just seemed bored, and it was just kind of going over his head. It seemed like I'd ask him what happened and he didn't really know. So I just don't think that you should rush into these chapter books. I don't think it's necessary either. If your child loves picture books, like they'll get more out of what they enjoy. So I like that the Beautiful Feet picture books around the world are picture books. I also like the idea of it being around the world because my little ones love maps. They love learning about different cultures and different countries. They love finding the countries on the globe. I think it would be a good life skill for them to learn about like where different countries are and everything in the world. And I like that Beautiful Feet has like different cuisines that you can make, and they're big on notebooking, which I would love to get into notebooking with my kids, where you like color something, cut it out, put it in your notebook or whatever. And so I do think I want to do notebooking with 5 in a row. I think that would be one that could be good because I want us to be able to see like what we did with all this stuff. But then also Beautiful Feet books, it's like specifically they have things that are meant for notebooking, pictures that they already give you, and flags and drawings of animals and that they color and paint. You can put in your notebook. And my little one, who will be going into kindergarten, he is an artist. He is my little artist. I love my kids. I think they're all so amazing. They all have these unique gifts. Like my oldest is like the athlete in the family. My second, he's like the musician. He takes piano lessons. He's just started voice lessons. And then my third is the artist. He is just amazing artist already. He's only 4 years old. The 2-year-old still to be determined. She's just a wild girl right now, but we'll see. My husband thinks she's very coordinated. So he's into sports and stuff. So we'll see about her. Not that my other kids, like Henry is playing soccer, like they do other things, but I just love seeing their unique talents. So anyway, I know that he would particularly enjoy notebooking and art type stuff, and that would catch his attention, whereas my older two, it wouldn't have, especially in kindergarten, like they wouldn't have really cared. So I think that would bring in my kindergartner to it more. He would enjoy it more. So I think I am actually really leaning towards Beautiful Feet, picture books around the world. It's always a curriculum I've been interested in and wanted to do, but of course I've had very young kids. Memory card was full, so quick energy drink break. What was I saying? I do think that it's been a struggle to sit all my little kids down and read picture books to them, but I think that if I don't put so much pressure on it and I'm just like, okay, this is definitely mostly for my kindergarten and second grader, and so if my toddler just can't sit through it, then we'll do it when she's napping or when she's, you know, busy doing something else, and I'm not going to care. I think that will help with my mindset on it. But yeah, I'm really leaning towards that curriculum. I just think there's a lot of things, but I also want to do 5 in a row. But I see myself not wanting to do all of the books for 5 in a row, like maybe getting sick of 5 in a row, some in the year. And so I don't want it to be the only thing we're doing. And the beautiful thing about this type of curriculum is that we can take it slow. And so we could do like a couple weeks of Beautiful Feet books and learning about a particular country or whatever, and then pause that, do like a 5 in a row week, and vice versa. What I really like about 5 in a row too is there's a lot of like field trip ideas and possibilities that they give you in that book that really go along with the books you're reading. And I like to take my kids on field trips and to take them out and see the world and everything. So, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that. And so now it's just like a bunch of curriculum. This is the problem, is that I love curriculum so much and I don't want to not do things. I want to do it all, which is kind of a problem because, you know, it's money and it's time and it's like, you can't do everything, Madison, but I want to. I want to do it all. So anyway, I think that as I'm talking to you guys, I'm really leaning towards the Beautiful Feet picture books around the world. I think it will be a good age. And there's 2 parts. So I don't know if you get through both parts in 1 year, if they're meant to be 2 separate years. But I think maybe we would do part 1 this year, this coming school year, and then part 2 the next coming school year. And so I would have a 2nd grader and a kindergartner, and then a 1st grader and a 3rd grader. And I think that that would be like good ages for picture books around the world. And then I'm definitely going to get 5 in a row and at least do some of it. You can use it kind of like unit studies because you don't have to do every book. You just purchase the books that you want to do. But then I'm also thinking I want to do some sunlight with my oldest. And that's where I'm unsure, is if I want to bring in my kindergartner or if I want to do, which I don't even think it's possible. I think our lives are too busy for me to do. Like, I would kind of like to do not the kindergarten with my kindergartner, but the level P with my kindergartner, sunlight, and then do like level K or whatever the next level is, A for history, Bible, literature. Definitely the science I want to do at my older child's like pace, and it's kind of his science. But then maybe the history, Bible, literature, they have their own course. I don't know. It's such a struggle. I feel like 2 grades apart, like you can easily combine them, but when they're fighting and they would kind of like their own thing more, so it might work better for our family to separate them. So I don't know. That part I'm still uncertain of. Let me know if you guys do like 2 separate cores for kids, even if they're a little bit close in age, how that goes for you, if you're able to do it. But those are just kind of my thoughts. I'm thinking sunlight. I'm thinking a Beautiful Feet. I'm thinking 5 in a row. The other thing I've also considered is Gentle and Classical. Their nature study. I have considered it. I've also considered their sequence 1 for Henry. But I think that I looked into it and I was like, I think that would be too much with Logic of English because it's like a grammar thing. And it has grammar and spelling and all that. And we're doing that in Logic of English already. And so I felt like when I was looking into Gentle and Classical, I just kind of felt like it had too much. It's not just like history, Bible, literature, you know, it has like other things. And I feel like that's too much. But I do own their preschool and I haven't really used it. I need to use it with Jack more. So this is the problem with like having such big eyes when it comes to curriculum and wanting to use it all, is that you can't always use it all and then you feel guilty about it. So anyway, those are my thoughts so far on our curriculum. I will talk about language arts and math and all of that in future videos, but this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning, you guys. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you're liking my videos and they'll push them out more. Also, definitely subscribe and click the bell to be notified when I post new videos. I'll see you next time. Bye. Whew. What are you doing? Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. All right, this definitely calls for an Alani energy drink because we are talking about 2024-2025 homeschool curriculum brainstorming.